Now there's no way back, right?
That's for sure.
How do you actually get? Yeah.
Oops. Hector, you look just like my friend Danilo de Honduras También. He was at our reunion.
What was the name?
Danilo.
Danilo.
Funes. Uh-huh.
Oh,
You look just like him, like you could be his brother.
oh wow.
Yeah. Danilo and Pichi, oh my goodness. They were awesome companions when I was down there. So they were a blast. They really took care of me and took me places, and my Honduran parents, because they were my chauffeurs, they would let me go. So I'm like, yes.
Volunteers who drive are a powerful motivator.
Yes,
Well,
they are.
yes, I have a lot of histories, and I believe one is a witness about my volunteer work.
Yeah.
Nice.
We did.
You all
I'm
were
not
in Tegucigalpa or different places?
Yes. No. Tegucigalpa. I think
Tegucigalpa.
Johan was one.
Utigalpa.
Well, if you haven't been back to Tegucigalpa, well.
Hello, everybody. Good morning,
Hola.
good afternoon,
Hola.
good evening, or any other time, depending where in the world you are today. Today is 18th April 2021, and this is the second webinar that we are hosting to save AFS Honduras 2021. We are so happy and very proud and very impressed with the contributions of over 250 members of the organizations and people around the world who send their photos, sharing their experiences, sharing their time they have during their exchange years as a host families, exchange students, or local participants going overseas. Today we had 4 amazing contributions for 4 amazing people. We are talking about Lisa, is up there. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
We have Johan. Hello, Johan. We have Hector Monroy. And we have Kelly. We are going to be giving you a round of tips and also stories how AFS was a successful experience for these 4 amazing guests. So we're not going to take longer, and let's start. We're going to move our screen into the speaker form. All the guests are going to switch their microphones off, and we are welcome at this very moment, Hector Monroy.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Wani. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here this morning and share with you, Kelly, Lisa, and Johan, former AFS participants to Honduras just a few years ago, I said, to share this screen. I would like to start sharing that I'm also a former AFS student. I went to Australia. I went to the city of Brisbane in 1988. I was hosted by the Moorhead family in Brisbane. A wonderful family, I have to say that. I'm still in touch with them, and I'm really, really happy, and I feel very blessed to be part of their home and their lives. I've been involved in AFS since I returned from Australia in 1989, and immediately I returned and I started doing volunteer work with AFS. My first steps on AFS, of course, as you know, and everybody will know, I was helping with the sending programs, volunteer for the hosting programs, and I had the opportunity even to work with you when you were a member of the staff of AFS Honduras. I remember you used to call us a lot, and give us some special missions to attend and interviews. I think I remember the nickname that we took with one of my best friends that I met in AFS, that we used to do everything together, interviews and be in orientation, and many wonderful memories that I have back then. I used to do everything, as I mentioned, interviewing families, looking for host families, meeting with local committees, visiting a school, counseling, because I have many exchange students and I was a counselor. I don't know if they be well, but I had really good fun doing some counseling for exchange student here in Honduras place back then. And of course, helping in orientation. And I remember one of the responsibilities that with our friend Carlos Torres, you give us that you couldn't attend the orientation in Copan Ruinas. And we have to deal and manage that orientation that year. It was great. All my university years was very attached to the AFS experience. Involved on AFS also helped me back then to my personal development and of course in the social involvement and different issues in our country in those years, even to start looking forward what I would like to do or what I was studying was impacting on my professional developing life. I also had the chance to be a staff member of AFS. I remember that that's when they started the 18 plus programs. They were the first experiences, and some groups, about I remember four students came to the country to do some volunteer work in different areas. And after I have my experience as a staff member, I returned back to volunteer work. And that's how I became a member of the national board for the first time. Currently, I am the vice chair of AFS Honduras at the national board again, after being away from the country for a few years because of my work. And well, after this introduction, for everyone who is watching us and maybe don't have any idea what is AFS. AFS is an international organization that promotes opportunities of intercultural learning around the world through a variety of exchange programs, and giving the opportunity especially to young people between 15 and 17 years old to be placed in a family in a hosting country and to attend to a school as a regular student. And that's where the main experience is developed for an AFS participants to be abroad. Of course, AFS is not only the opportunity to travel and to live in a different country. Somehow during the AFS experience, participants develop skills, they encourage new challenges, they gain values and strength qualities that maybe they have still in development. For example, the ability to learn and communicate in a different language is one of the abilities that most of the exchange students develop during their experience. The empathy, the understanding between people, and I believe this is one of the important that I learned a lot, is to become more tolerant about everything. I mean, not just to being exposed, as I mentioned. An AFS participant has the chance to share and learn from people around the world about their cultures and their countries through the people, and building skills and especially friendships that will last forever. I don't have any doubts that the impact of AFS experience has been very positive in every participant in different levels, and has helped them to develop those skills and abilities and that help on the professional development and strengthen those leaderships. I mean, it helps to strengthen leadership in their own country. Some numbers, I think it was given before, but around 2,000 Hondurans has participated overseas in our programs. About 2,206 participants from the world has come to Honduras and have their experience as an exchange students. More than about 532 foreign students has come to Honduras to share their knowledge and experience in different social areas and organizations as volunteers. And this is one of the most important things also, that more than 2,700 families from Honduras has had the opportunity to host exchange students and share their homes, their lives, and their experience with them. And of course, about 87 schools has hosted students from all over the world through all these years that AFS has been around Honduras. I believe if we join all this hosting and experiences, I think we have the impact not just on the participants as host families and students. I mean, you have to think about the rest of the family members, the extent of the family, the students that are attending to schools, Honduran students, I mean, that have the chance to share with the AFS participants, and somehow they are also having an experience, an AFS experience, an intercultural learning through these people, even if they don't travel out of Honduras, or have to motivate them to even to apply to have their experience as well. Regardless the COVID situation and that we have, not just Honduras, the whole world, we have to think about in our office how to keep alive AFS. And we are very happy to share that at this moment, even this situation of keeping AFS Honduras active and in the system, 15 young Honduras have been placed in the different countries right now. So we have 11 participants on the northern hemisphere, 4 on the southern hemisphere, and they have traveled to Czech Republic, to Italy, and Switzerland. And we are currently very happy that we have 21 candidates applying right now to travel or to apply and to have an experience with AFS on the Northern program in 2021. So hopefully, if everything goes well, these students will be starting their AFS experience with this unique and different experience because of this worldwide COVID situation. But this is the important thing, that we didn't last year we didn't just came and have the COVID and manage, on the personal levels. We have to sit and start talking about how keeping AFS alive as well. And that's why, for everything that I have mentioned, our national board and the national the office took the decision to launch a fundraising campaign in order to maintain and alive the legacy of AFS Honduras for future generation of young people from our country and foreign young people to have this opportunity to travel to Honduras and have their AFS experience and benefit from the impact of the wonderful AFS experience. One of our major joys and satisfactions that we have during this campaign is that has given the opportunity to rejoin many AFS participants from different years, from different promotions, I believe we could say, and we have the chance to put them in contact again. So that somehow we believe, or I believe, they are having a new AFS experience through this fundraising campaign. We have rejoined former volunteers, foreign AFS participants that they have the chance to be here many years ago, probably, or a few years ago, and we have getting them back in touch with our country, and they have been in touch and arranging again and keep in touch with former AFS participants from their own years as well. So we re-meet, and we are very glad and shared and very, very thankful for their support to this campaign, and because they have a port according to their possibilities, and sharing and sending this message the importance for us to keep AFS Honduras alive. And of course, Wani, we are very happy, and I'm really thankful, and I'm talking about the AFS Honduras family, and especially the board and national office, to thank you, because you have been one of the major volunteers and give us a lot of support to this campaign, not just to our fundraising campaign, just that because you develop a parallel campaign and has helped to describe the history of AFS in Honduras. It's amazing how about 250 posts that you had on your Facebook page, and then thanks for moving cultures too. And if we join all those 50 posts, we have a huge collection of not just pictures, experiences that send a message that the AFS has been around in Honduras for many years, and we could not stand or be seated with our arm crossed and see what happened. No, it has motivated us. It has given us that hope, and we, as we say in Spanish, has revuelto nuestros corazones to keep this history alive. And so thank you very much for that campaign, and it's been a really good experience, and give us joy, and of course motivated to keep our campaign running. Until today, our main fundraising campaign has been support for about 120 donors, all at the national level and international level. And I would like also to take the opportunity to thank to all those contributions, to all those people who has believed and support our campaign. Not just because their contribution, economic contribution, just because they have been motivated and support because they believe in the benefits of AFS. That's one of the way of recognition of the importance on keeping this legacy alive, Wani, for the future of AFS Honduras. So we are very, very, very thankful for that contribution and the support that they have given us already. We are halfway from our campaign. We know that it's not easy. The road is not that flat. We have some hills to climb, but we are very sure that we will reach our goal. And as I mentioned, we are very, very motivated to keep this campaign alive. So that's why I would like to invite all the AFS Honduras family, all those AFSers around the world, and their friends and the people who are probably watching this transmission to join our campaign. Not just because to keep AFS Honduras alive, so to give them also to the future generation of their own countries the opportunity to travel on an AFS experience, because not just AFS Honduras is having this crisis or this limitation, it's all around. Unfortunately, some countries probably has closed operations, and we would like to keep AFS Honduras on operation to be on the map. Latin America is a really good destination, has offered many wonderful experience to AFS participants. And we want Honduras to be on the radar, to be on that map, to be on that destination for future AFS Honduras, and of course, Honduras National to travel and have their own experience thanks to AFS. So we want everybody to join our campaign to be a part of this new AFS experience, as I mentioned. And I'm sure that we will be celebrating in 2023 our 60th anniversary. Okay, and keeping bringing more opportunities of intercultural learning, promoting peace and understanding between the world, thanks to this experience. I would like to start right now, and thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, Wani.
Thank you, Hector, for your contributions, for your message, for the spirit, and also for reminding everybody that we are a global family. And as one of the AFS songs that I always sing when we have this gathering is about Cuando tú llegas por primera vez, todo te parece tan extraño. No sabes aún lo hermoso que es vivir una experiencia AFS. Compartes con jóvenes igual que tú, alegrías y tristezas, y muy pronto también comprenderás cómo te conoces a ti mismo. Ven y verás lo hermoso que es vivir una experiencia AFS. Ven y verás lo hermoso que es vivir una experiencia AFS. Y ahora, para celebrar and to let the people know how that AFS experience has motivated and transformed the life of many, we are welcoming our dear Kelly.
Thank you, Wani. I don't know that I want to follow that beautiful voice. That was great. My name is Kelly Gonzalez, and I was an AFS participant to Honduras way back in 1983 with Johan and Lisa. And as you can see by the fact that we're here, these are everlasting, lifelong friendships that we have developed and secured. I mean, forever. We had a reunion recently, and it was almost like no time was apart. I want to say that when I applied to become a foreign exchange student, I wanted to go to Peru. I had done a report on Peru in like 5th grade. That's where I wanted to go. Well, they told me I was going to Honduras. And my first thing was, British Honduras? I didn't know where it was. So I had to look it up. And I will tell you, I couldn't have asked for a better program to be involved with. AFS Honduras, it's not just the office. It's everybody, the support, the love, the security with which you're surrounded. They built such a wonderful program down there that at no time did we feel alone. The experience, I will say, it's one of the best experiences, probably, you know, besides becoming a mother and a wife, the best experience of my life. It's hard, but the amount of growth is exponential. That when somebody has this experience, it's incredible, the growth of the students that participate in these programs. It opens your world. It opens up your world. So you go someplace, you're learning and you're living in their culture. You know, before I went to Honduras, I thought no sé meant, hey, I'm not going to say. I didn't know that it meant, hey, I don't know. So when you wake up, the buenos dias, you go to bed, the buenas noches, you learn, you adapt to the language. And it was so beautiful. It opens your mind and heart to the world. So when you come back to the United States, you're just constantly seeking, you know, somebody from a different country. You just want to talk to them and hear about them and know about them. You just sit down and talk to me. It opens your heart. It opens your world. It's an incredible experience. It has had such a positive impact on my life in so many ways. You know, each day we touch somebody. Everybody touches somebody. And I really do believe, because of my experience with AFS and the way it opens your mind, opens your heart, when you touch somebody, for the most part, it is a positive experience, because you truly want to know about that person, or you truly want to help. It really instills in you a heart to serve. and to know others. It would be Honduras had to close. The experience one has with the people there, that's what opens your heart, and that's what opens your mind. And that's what you take away. You take away the people. I am still friends with schoolmates that I went to school with. I've had schoolmates visit. I'm constantly, almost on a daily basis with one of my good friends that I went to school with in Honduras. So it creates a lifelong, everlasting, ongoing experience. And saving Honduras, saving the Honduran AFS program is just, it's imperative. It's so important that we do that. It is just really the best. It's such an incredible program with incredible people. And especially in this time where the world is kind of a little bit topsy-turvy. We know the world's a little bit topsy-turvy right now. This is positive. This is a positive. This is something positive that we can do. We can open our doors, our hearts, our minds, and we can keep the doors to AFS Honduras open. And we really want to do that. I can't tell you enough. I could tell you funny stories from even sitting in class. My classmates used to like to tease me, because my teachers at the school I went to, they didn't speak English, besides the English teacher, of course. But so in some of my classes, some of my Honduran friends, they would all of a sudden blurt out, kind of a naughty word in English, and the teachers wouldn't know. And of course I was like, oh, I'm looking around, and they would start laughing. That they would tease me, or just other things, like when we're walking down the street, they make sure I'm on the inside of the street. Anything I needed, they had it. Whether they could afford to do it or not, they did it. So I didn't meet not one person that wouldn't give the shirt off their back to help me. And I will never forget it. It's such a beautiful country. It's so wonderful to experience living, and to experience the people. I guess it's something that you take away and you think, oh my goodness, how blessed was I to have that, to be able to go. I can't stress enough the importance of saving this program, and the experiences, so that other young people can have the same experience. It's one of those things that they will never forget. It will be amongst the best experience of their lives also. And they will become friends and family to people they went with. I'm here with Lisa and Johan. It feels like we never left. It feels like, we were on the bus to Copan, or can you see in the background, like we're in Choluteca for our orientation, our in-country orientation. It was wonderful. There we all are. Can you see? There we all are. It is just one of those things that the experience, it's one of those life learning doors, lifelong learning opportunities that open so many doors for so many people. And AFS Honduras did that for me. They did that for me. And I feel so proud to be here, to have been asked to talk about it. And, you know, every little bit helps, you know, give a little, give a lot. If you, you know, are so struck to do so, but it opens your heart, your mind, and it will open the world for these young people. It's incredible. Thank you, Ani.
Thank you very much, Kelly. It's so important the message you deliver, because you are talking about stripping yourself from many points of view and positions that if you will not have the opportunity to be in Honduras and to connect with the local people and also with the rest of the foreign students of your year, you will be a different person. You know, so it has created a new spiral, you know, of goodness and celebration. Thank you so much for bringing back the spirit of AFS into this conversation. And well, to continue with those stories of life, family, and challenges, and of course, success, we are going to welcome Johan.
Thank you very much, Vani. My name is Johan Thorwid, and I'm from Sweden, and I will tell you a little bit about my AFS experience and how I ended up in Honduras. Well, the background is that I'm the youngest of three brothers, growing up in a town 1 hour west of Stockholm called Västerås. In the late 70s, my oldest brother got interested in AFS through his high school friends, and he spent a year in New York State. And during this year, we had an AFS student living with us, Jim from San Diego. And that was my first experience with AFS. And as a young boy, I lost my brother for a year, but instead I got a new brother, Jim, a very curious and wide-eyed brother that I could introduce to Swedish pastimes such as winter sports and how things worked in my family and where we lived. And during this year, I also got to know the other AFS students living in my town during that year. And that was a great experience. So I was quite young when I started to get involved in AFS. And when my oldest brother got back, my other brother went to North Carolina for a year. And this year we didn't host an AFS student at home, and suddenly our house really felt empty. It was, the pace was a lot slower and a little bit more boring. So the year after, we harassed our parents, we got another AFS student, Kirsten from San Francisco. So for the first time, I got an older sister. And this was, of course, a great experience. I grew up with two older brothers. And Kirsten, she really became my sister. And after her AFS year, she came back to Sweden and spent a couple of years studying at the Swedish university. And she's really my sister. We're very, very close to this day. And then eventually it was my time to apply for AFS. And as I was very interested to going abroad, but as you can understand, I already knew quite a lot about the US. So I wasn't really interested in going to the US. And with AFS at the time, I could either apply for going to somewhere in Europe or to the rest of the world. So, well, I applied for the rest of the world. And I got accepted and was waiting for news. Where would there be a family willing to accept a Swedish boy? And in the middle of the winter, I got news from AFS Sweden. There was a family in Juticalpa, Honduras. So the first thing I did, just as Kelly, find a map. Where exactly is Honduras? And can I find Juticalpa on that map? Well, I could. And coming to Honduras as an 18-year-old boy from Sweden was a fantastic and truly life-changing experience. And as Kelly said before, everything wasn't easy. And the difference between leaving Sweden in the middle of the winter and moving to Juticalpa in the beginning of February 1983 was, as we say in Swedish, a real crash of culture. Everything was different, and virtually nobody spoke English in Olancho at that time. So I had to pick up Spanish fast or stay silent, which is not really in my nature. So I won't tire you with a lot of stories from Olancho, but I assure you there are many. But instead, I will focus on my experience as a whole in 3 layers. First and foremost, being with AFS a year gives you the unique opportunity to become a member of another family. This isn't anything you can achieve in any other way, because as a member of your host family, you become an intrinsic part of an existing family infrastructure. You get siblings, you get parents, you get grandparents, you get cousins, you get neighbors, and there's a lot of family history to learn to understand how this family actually works, what makes them tick and what makes them unique. And as a part of a family, you also get introduced and accepted by the wider community where you stay. Having a host family makes going to school a natural part of the experience, since your brothers and sisters go to school and everybody you hang out with go to school. And going to school as a student within the AFS experience is definitely an essential part of the experience to understand the other culture. That broadens your experience in a unique way. And you have to remember that this experience you get as being part of another family and the culture in the school, this is nothing you can be achieved by just traveling or even studying abroad for a university or something. Well, you get into the city, to campus, you meet other students, but you don't get that in-depth knowledge of the culture, and you don't get into the family. So that is actually absolutely what is the most unique part of being abroad with AFS. But the second layer of the experience is, as Kelly mentioned before too, is all the new friends you make with the other AFS students. Since you're all in the same position, you create very strong relationships, and you became each other's support throughout the experience. Because there are ups and downs, and you have happy times and you have sad times, and you could long for home, or you can long for more experience, and you could always turn to your fellow AFSers because they are in the same situation. And as you already heard, we had our 1983 digital reunion just a month ago, and it was like starting all over again. and it's like no time had passed. But the third layer of the AFS experience is the relationship you create with AFS, and especially for us with AFS Honduras. For all during my year, the organization of AFS Honduras was always there in the background, keeping track of us, making sure everything went well, and the office in Comayagüela was always open, and it felt like a safe spot to come to, where you could always get an ear if you wanted to talk to someone and get support with issues you had, and it always felt secured and you always felt welcome. So it was a very essential part of the experience, and which is a very dear and I think necessary part of the years you spend abroad. And I also made one of my absolute best friends in Honduras from one of the volunteers, and we are still in contact. Not as often that we should, but we are still very close. And the support and great work of AFS Honduras was something I think more of us less took for granted during the year we were in Honduras. Returning to Sweden and being involved in AFS myself, I started to realize what makes AFS such a unique organization. It is the involvement, the hard work, and the love shared by everyone working locally within AFS that creates this AFS spirit, as Vanny sang to us about. And this made me actually more over the years after my experience appreciate actually what a significant part of my experience is due to the AFS Honduras organization. And I also think it made me a better, bigger brother as well to the Canadian girl we hosted when I came back. And to get to the point with this fundraiser we're doing, and the main question is, why is it important to save AFS Honduras? Well, the world is constantly changing and is getting smaller and smaller, primarily due to digitalization. When I was in Honduras, my family, we didn't have a phone, and a letter to Sweden took between 10 or 20 or never days to be delivered. Now I can get in touch with all my friends all over. This is actually more important today than maybe it was 40 years ago, because the unique experience that AFS gives to become a part of a different culture and creating real relationships with people from other culture is now more important than ever. In the current fast-moving digitalized world, it is extremely easy to make casual friends. You reach out and find people with similar interests or views all over the world, but it's just as easy to drop these casual friends if your own view of the world is questioned or is not liked by these friends. What AFS does is to give the opportunity to young people all over the world to literally spend a year walking in someone else's shoes, to find out why there are differences, how people react in different situations, how they behave, and how to find the real story behind what living in another country is, instead of getting the views from mainstream newscasters, from hearsay over the internet. Nothing can beat the real personal experience. And it works both ways. The student will learn and at the same time teach their new friends and family about their culture. So I don't think it can be overstated the value it actually gives to the world as a whole, everything we do within AFS, where we actually take a little piece of the world and move it around. And that makes ripples in the water, which is essential for the world. And we need to rally up and save AFS Honduras to make the real world better, not just the digitalized version of the world. There are very strong tendencies now that you can choose what picture of the world you would like to see by selecting the channels or digital friends. And I find this is a very scary development, and we have an obligation, I think, to support the organizations that have given us so much. I think everyone who was participating in AFS experience truly can say that it has changed their view of the world. And now with the pandemic going on, it's clear that some of us are privileged to a safer and more sheltered way of living than others. And AFS Honduras now is in a dire need for our help to be able to continue their very important work. And I think we all need to help AFS Honduras to show our support, both literally and in helping out financially, because we need to make sure that AFS Honduras can continue and expand their work. So please support the campaign for AFS Honduras and for the world. And you don't need to be an AFSer, since I hope there's a lot of people who actually can see this on Facebook, and you don't have to have the AFS experience to be a supporter. You can actually, if you believe in intercultural exchange, reach out a hand and help an organization that actually makes a difference. Thank you, Vanni.
Thank you, Johan. Your message is leading the conversation into a very important topic, that is how technology and virtual communication has transformed the way we deal with life at the moment. So you make it very clear when you explain that it's nothing more touching than to have the real experience, because you can have so many friends in Facebook, Instagram, or any of the social media networks, but that doesn't compare your connection with the real people, with the real country, with the first-hand information of a new language, and how you can actually inspire other people, to be also giving and selfless. Yeah, thank you so much for that message, Johan. And now to continue, with this celebration of diversity and celebration of unity, we are welcoming Lisa.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Wani, and thank you, friends. I'm excited to be here with you. I feel a little daunted about following all of your wonderful stories. As I looked down to what I thought I'd be talking about today, I was nodding my head with Kelly and Johan and going, yep, yep, yep. But just a little bit about me. I'm currently living in Batavia, Illinois, outside of Chicago, Illinois. And I was one of the very lucky people who are in front of the bus behind Kelly. I was hosted in Honduras in 1983 and 84 with Johan and Kelly and the people you see behind Kelly. I first learned about the fact that there was such a thing as an exchange student from my high school chapter back in the day. There were chapters and the chapter at my high school was very active. And I met some wonderful people from around the world who were studying at my high school. And I said, yeah, I want to do that. So also at that time, like Johan mentioned, you did not select where you wanted to go, which is many of the students who go on AFS today are able to do that. So I found out that I would be going to Honduras just 3 weeks before getting on a plane. And so those 3 weeks were very busy getting ready. I had not studied Spanish, but I had studied French for 5 years. So this was a plot twist to be going to a country that spoke Spanish. I had the best luck ever, won the lottery. I was placed in Tegucigalpa with the most amazing host family, the Amador Reyes family. I had 2 wonderful siblings, Julio and Patti, and we are all still close today because of the technology that we're using. There was a period of time, unfortunately, that we were behind. Technology hadn't arrived yet. So I did lose touch with my friends and family in Honduras for a brief period. And then the internet took off. So I'm very grateful for that. While I was in Tegucigalpa, I lived in Barrio Guanacaste. I went to Instituto Tegucigalpa. And I, was busy learning, just like a sponge, just learning everything around me, learning the culture, learning the community. I'd spend my free time walking around with my camera and practicing my newfound Spanish. As my friends have said, it's an experience you can't really describe to others other than it was the best thing I've ever done. And I think that it's not a one and done thing. You don't go for your exchange year, come back and move on with your life. You're permanently changed, kind of like a balloon that's been inflated is never going to go back to its original shape. Your worldview has changed. Your outlook has changed. Your backyard or the neighborhood that you go back to just isn't sufficient anymore. There's a whole world out there full of people that have something to share with you. And so most exchange students I know have taken that experience and wanted more. After I came back, I, sought a degree in international business, jumped into learning Japanese, and was ready to take on the world. The confidence that a young person gets from stretching themselves in this way, leaving everything that they've known, going across the world, and having that family experience that both Johan and Kelly talked about. It just instills such a confidence that nothing's out of reach. And as you hear stories of students who have been hosted in Honduras, have gone from Honduras, many have taken, just like you shared, Hector, they've taken that experience and it has flavored their life, you know, in their profession, in their pastimes, in their benevolence that they wish to, you know, to help others around the world. The other thing I wanted to highlight, again, we're here talking about why is AFS Honduras worth saving? And I absolutely echo everything that the other panelists have said, in that it is to give the opportunity to as many people as possible to expand their horizon, expand their worldview, walk in the shoes of someone else, is a gift that is lifelong. And we're all talking about this campaign. A friend of ours, Mike, from our reunion said, you know, don't buy your Starbucks or whatever, you know, gourmet coffee is your thing. And, you know, for $5, you can change a young person's life for the rest of their life. And it definitely changed mine. After, you know, Johan mentioned you become part of the AFS family. It's not one and done. So when I returned, I volunteered at the local level. I absolutely echo what Johan said, that the volunteers and the staff of AFS Honduras are what makes it unique, what makes it successful, what creates this experience for over 2,000 people that, you know, Hector shared with us, that we are just a group of 18, and we're 18 in a sea of 2,000 people who were hosted and welcomed and loved by the Honduran people. That's pretty impressive to me. But I volunteered at the regional level, helping to screen students who were going abroad. And then we started raising our family. So I took a little pause there, but I always knew that I wanted to give another young person the opportunity that was given to me. So my family has hosted 4 exchange students. Each experience was incredibly unique. Our first son, Roberto, from Germany, was, it's been 11 years since he went home. But now I have family, true family, like Johan said, sons, a daughter, aunts, uncles, grandmas in 6 countries around this world, all because, you know, 37 years ago, Honduras welcomed me. And I think that the ability to keep that going, to create a bridge that, you know, I see this Save on Honduras campaign as a bridge to help this amazing organization, the volunteers, the staff members, make it to the other side, to where the global pandemic, the situation ends. It was very exciting to me to hear that students are once again able to apply and go abroad from Honduras, and but that we can all help right now by supporting the staff, the volunteers, the essence of what AFS Honduras is, until such a time that everything, I won't say returns to normal, because I don't think normal as we knew it is coming back, but until the organization can resume operations at its former level, you know, to be able to make more life-changing experiences. Both Kelly and Johan mentioned that everyone is impacted. You know, everyone thinks that the personal growth is truly with the participant, the student. But I'm here to tell you that everybody grows. Everybody has their worldview, their, as others have said, their tolerance, their compassion, their ability to laugh at themselves, because you make a lot of mistakes as an exchange student. So a host family has changed. We changed each time we hosted a student. We learned from them. We learned to explain some of our cultures and customs that we take for granted, because no one had ever asked us, well, why do people in the United States? Stop for a minute, you're like, well, your schoolmates, as Johan mentioned, and I think Hector also, I had some great relationships with the girls that I was in class with, several due to Facebook, technology, the blessing that it is, I'm still in touch with. I've been able to return to Honduras 4 times in this vast period of time. And I have gotten together with classmates, and they learned from having me in their class and needing to shepherd me and all of my strange mannerisms. And they've gone on to be better global citizens because of that. The volunteers that we had, many were on our reunion. So if you think about relationships that were almost 4 decades ago, and yet people are still caring to know and to grow with one another. So I am just very thrilled to have been asked to share my experiences, to participate, to lend my support, not only financially. That's the most important part. We're all here trying to support the Save Honduras campaign, Save AFS Honduras campaign, but also with our time, with our hearts, with our compassion, with our passion for this mission. And it really has just been a blessing for me to be, involved, to have been privileged enough to spend a year in Honduras and to consider it my second home. One that I'm very anxious to get back to as soon as we can start traveling again, but that also we can continue to do more to foster AFS's mission, to work with young people. And I agree with what the other speakers have said. I think that exchange at the high school level is unique. And it is not just one more thing that can be done. We can all travel almost anywhere in the world that we would want right now, but exchange, intercultural exchange at the age of 17 or some, 15 to 18, it alters the trajectory of that young person's life. I did not study what I intended to study before I went to Honduras. I did not aspire to have 4 extra teenagers live with me over the career of raising kids. It changes who people are. It's not just a checkbox on a resume builder. I think university college study abroad is important. Anytime somebody has the opportunity to go to another culture, to another country with the intent of learning, that's a beautiful thing. But I think that the impact that AFS exchange has just far exceeds any other program that I'm aware of. And I believe that's because it is volunteer led, volunteer run. The people who are spending time shepherding the students, keeping the students safe, they have a passion for this. That none of the host parents are paid, none of the volunteers are paid. People are doing this because they share in the mission of a more peaceful world by learning about one another. And I just feel very, very privileged to have been allowed to do this. And I'm grateful to be a part of this event that is highlighting the need that it absolutely continue in the future. Thank you, Wani.
Thank you, Lisa. You also had lead the conversation into peace. Peace is dynamic. Peace only can be achieved through the connections of different aspects of life, because it's transversal. You know, it takes in touch all the different layers of the scale in all the different dimensions. And you say it's an act of peace. And this is why teenagers have transformed societies through the ages, because that's the time when we are fearless, you know, where we can actually take any kind of challenges and any kind of adventures, you know, without thinking that you're gonna break your head or your arm or whatever, you know. It's a time for transformation. So with this, I'm going to bring you all to the gallery so we can be all together here. So everybody's gonna be here. And I'm going to read for you some of the messages of the friends of AFS who are at the moment live. This is Jorge Manuel Zelaya Fajardo. AFS was a turning point in my life. The whole experience was priceless. I learned a new language and I extended my family. The Geblas in Maryland, USA, became my family forever. We all have an infinite debt with AFS Honduras for the tremendous job that has done for so long. The best is yet to come. We will get through this without doubt. A big hug to all of you. Mercy Monroy say, best year in a tiny island. Love you. And she sent greetings to her host mother, Ruth Robertson. Belkis say, aplausos, you all done great. Rosa Maria Moncada, great to be here with you all, super nice. Then we have once again Belkis, Doris Santomango say, saludos mis amigos. Lidia Landaverde, saludos a todos. Y tenemos aquí un mensajito de Hector Monroy, también saludando a la comunidad que se une a la campaña. Tenemos a Douglas Ruiz enviando saludos. Tenemos también a la mamá de Mercy Monroy, la señora Ruth Robertson, from la isla de San Lucia en the Caribbean. ¿verdad? Y bueno, así se van uniendo, and some other people start joining this conversation about Save AFS Honduras 2021. I also take the opportunity to share with you, after listening to your stories and experiences, that I also have my exchange year in Rockford, Illinois, in the year 83-84. And it was great, you know, I didn't know that Lisa was from Illinois. It was like a changing experience. I was hosted by a British, Jamaican constellation, because the former husband of my host mom, who she was a widow by the time they host me, was British Jamaican. Yeah, and I have two host sisters. We still very much connected. She came to stay with us in Panama when we were living there. We went to visit them in Rockford. I had the chance to connect with my classmates and visit my high school. Some of my classmates who are traveling around the world now, one of them is living here in Thailand. So it's a crazy situation, you know, that you start moving all over and you start finding everybody connected. And now I'm gonna get back to Johan, because my sister went to Sweden as an exchange student, and after that I was inspired to go to Europe, and I applied to go to Europe, but no, they sent me to the United States. And of course, thanks to that, I have the great opportunities at the professional level. I have the chance to travel overseas, because English is the economical financial language, you know, so it was a great decision from AFS side to send me to the United States. And this is teaching us something, that we might have an idea where we want to end up, but the universe has other plans for us. So this program is practically the pioneer in virtual connections. Yeah, because everything is that we're doing with technology, we did it manually. You know, learning about how people behavior will be suitable for other communities around the globe, how you could match a family with a student, you know, from another society, you know, and that is something very remarkable because you were working at that level miles and miles away, moving people from Australia, New Zealand, Europe, the United States, South America, and I'm talking about Honduras, getting all those details and those profiles that you needed to understand to make their experience the most close to successful. Yeah, because we always going to find some challenges because otherwise that will not be real life. So let's applaud for AFS, you know, and let's continue sending the positive vibrations for this organization to continue, not only in Honduras, but globally, giving the opportunity to teenagers, adults in the world, you know, to be a more peaceful setting, because we need to promote unity in diversity. In this area where division is leading, we have to remind ourselves that besides the difference, there is a common factor that is love, respect, yeah, and the capacity to give opportunities to our own people and to others. So with this, I'm going to once more give a round, you know, to each one of you to send a message, a positive message to the world. Because at the moment, we are not just talking about AFS people like Johan said. We are talking about the world, you know, and this is what technology has given us as a present, as a gift, you know, that we can globally deliver a message that is meaningful, that is going to allow us to go further in this mission of unity and diversity. With no more, I welcome once more Hector Monroy.
Well, thank you, Wani. Well, what I could send the world as a message is that we have to understand that we are human beings, that we use tools as the technology, computers to begin communications. And we have to take the opportunity to use technology, but without forgetting that we are humans, that we need to be in touch with each other. I think this pandemic situation has given us a lesson and has to make us think and remember that we are persons. I mean, it's nothing that we have forgotten, but somehow with our daily routine and with the arriving of these instruments, these tools, this technology, we forgot and we try to concentrate everything on the screen. And there is nothing more value that have that contact with the person and to share and live an experience with them as well. So my message is that keep our efforts in searching our goal. I could say that because talking about the AFS gave me the experience to know the world through the people, to build relationships through the world. So it has been value for me, and I think it will be value for future generations to understand that the contact with people is very important. Use technology, but please do not forget and concentrate your life on it. Just try to find a way so we can understand each other, talk, and have the same experience, and to have a better world. I believe that through this type of programs, we can promote peace, we can promote the understanding, and of course, the intercultural learning, it will be the tool to do it, and use technology to reach that.
Thank you, Hector. So let's welcome Kelly.
Well, you know, I second what Hector said. I will tell you also, or I will say also that, you know, like he says, we're all kind of shut in. Everything's technology right now. Technology. Pardon me. But programs like this, you know, you put the technology aside and you experience it. You experience it. There's no other way to say that. It is not something that you're going to get through technology. It's an experience that will open.
We're going to wait for Kelly to come back because she was facing some issues with her internet. So we are hopeful that she will be connected with us soon. So let's go back to Johan.
I guess it's my turn. So, well, I second what you say, of course, and what Hector said about and Vani about communication. I mean, it has to be respectful, and you have to learn to listen, and you have to learn to ask the question, as Lisa asked herself, why do American people do this? And being able to have that ear and listen and actually understand that there is always a reason behind why people behave in a certain way. And that is something you can't only learn by reading books or meeting people digitally. You need to be part of an experience to understand. One of my greatest moments actually during my year in Honduras was I was out with my friends and a situation arose. And suddenly I understood he is going to react in that way, which is not the way I'm going to react, but I understood that he is going to react in that way because that's the way things work here. And he did, and I went, yes, I understand. I got the key and it clicked in the locker. And the understood my first joke, which is always a little bit tricky in a foreign language. But I think, especially if you take this in the world today, also in the view of Honduras, we have an opportunity to help Honduras to expand, to get Honduranian teenagers to go out to be ambassadors for Honduras in the world. Because we always get a very narrow view of what Honduras is and what challenges Honduras have through our own news casts and so on all over the world. There's the 15 seconds of fame or 5 seconds in a newscast. This is happening and that is happening. And it's only bad news that sells extra newspapers. So we need to help AFS Honduras to be able to send new year after year to send out new ambassadors for Honduras into the world, because they will create a much larger understanding of what Honduras is and what Central America is and Latin America. And that is something that can actually make the world smaller and a lot better place for everyone to live in. We need to fight hard to fight the us and them. It's very easy to group people together, but people are individuals and you need to communicate. As Hector said, the real experience is actually where we can learn. So I raise to the challenge, Kelly.
Thank you, Johan. And now we're going back with Kelly. Kelly, I also got disconnected at the same time as you did. But you know, we survived. Here we are.
Yes, absolutely. We're back to me. I put out the challenge. Mike from our 1983 group put out the challenge to us to donate $83. And so I put that challenge out there for others. So like if you're from the 79 group, get your group to donate, you know, $79 or, you know, raise $79 to donate to this campaign, which again, it's wonderful. And then you missed when I said, you know, the year 2000, they're like, woo, because there's zeros there, but I'm going to challenge them to make it 100 and then 101, so on and so forth. It's, we just can't lose AFS Honduras. We can't. It's just too valuable. I know I'm repeating, but oh my goodness, I mean that sincerely. I know. Sorry, Lisa.
Thank you, Kelly. So let's welcome Lisa.
For a message for the world. I think that pretty much globally, as many others have said, we're very divided. It is us and them. And what we learned through exchange, what we learned through AFS is that, you know, we are always more alike than we are different. There's no one way to do something. You know, there's an AFS motto. It's, you know, it's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. And I think that now more than ever, we have to embrace our differences and use them to be stronger. You know, everyone brings something different to the table, and you learn that also in exchange because you're a working member of a family and you can contribute your sense of humor, which is hard to learn in another language. But you contribute your uniqueness to your host family, which is also unique. And that's a message that we can take into the workplace, we can take into our communities, we can take into when we're reading the bad news that Johan mentioned. We are always more alike than we are different. And we just need to take the time to explore the differences and appreciate the differences. Those of us who wanted to be exchange students, we didn't want to be exchange students in the suburb next door. I didn't want to go to Indiana. I wanted to go to the most different place that I could think of because like Wani said, that's when you're fearless and, you know, bring on the adventure. And I think we need to hold on to that, you know, in our hearts and never stop exploring. But mostly I go back to wanting a more peaceful world, wanting a less divided world, and taking, you know, if every person could commit to understanding differences instead of just judging differences, I think we would be better off.
Lisa, thank you. And with that, we are really getting close to the end of this conversation. AFS has been the inspiration for several social movements created by myself in Honduras, starting with Mujeres en las Artes. It has also a very similar scheme as AFS. It's based on volunteers, it's based in education and in the capacity to transform communities with love and commitment. I did the same in Zimbabwe. We have a collective not only of artists, but experts and people like Johan mentioned from different areas and fields that are interested on creating a more peaceful world. Then in Colombia, in India, in Panama, in Kenya, and now in Thailand. So we are over 450 volunteers, professionals committed to excellence. And we're not talking about of excellence as a performance. Excellence is a human beings who will like to impact the world. Change makers. This is what we are at the moment heading. We need to be the change in our life, the life of our people, the life of our community, and the life at the global level. I'm going to share with you a mantra that I use with all my collectives worldwide, because it's so important to remember that energy is what is driving change and is driving transformation. So we're going to put our hands up and we are going to say, I am. We're going to get close to your heart. You're going to say, I love myself. You're going to do a fist strong, and you're going to say, I am powerful. With a big smile on your face, you can say, I can give. And with a big smile, you're going to say, I can receive. And with a bigger smile, you can make a heart, and you're going to say, I can change. So we're going to do it from the top 3 times. I am. I love myself. I am powerful. I can give. I can receive. I can change. Second time. I am. I love myself. I am powerful. I can give. I can receive. And I can change. Last time. I am. I love myself. I am powerful. I can give. Keep the smile going. I can receive. And I can change. And now I'm going to explain you why the movement of your hands are going to give meaningful to your energy. I am is like an antenna that is connected to the higher force, because we are coming from a higher world. We are coming from the unknown. You know, we are miracles of life. I love myself because your heart is what is keeping you alive. And your beat is rhythm, is connection. Power comes with the knowledge of knowing that you exist and that you are the result of love. And then you are powerful, not because you're strong. It's because you understand why are you here in this world. At the moment that you understand those 3 dimensions, you are going to be selfless. You're going to give. You're going to give to others, because giving to others, you will receive. And we're not only talking about the material. It's a great feeling knowing that you have changed the life of somebody. And that person smile at you and say, thank you. You know, you have already become a winner. And the last one is the big heart that you create in every day, because you have to be humble to change. Change requires everything of you, because at the moment you are in your comfort zone, you are not ready to let it go. So let's keep creating that heart to understand that change is going to be always for the best. So, my beautiful guests, thank you so much for sharing your stories, your love, your commitment, your compassion, and for keeping AFS Honduras alive. Musical kisses to all, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Wani.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you very much.